What do you think of my chat show jacket?
Nice. It's nice. I don't know if the little kind of black.
Can you see that?
What is that? Is that? I was going to say it's not really piping, is it? But it's a lovely little, a very subtle black line on a very dark navy jacket. It's very classy. I don't know if the camera picks that up. But it is.
I'll wear it every time I ask a question.
Yeah.
So if I ever need to ask a question, I have this jacket with me.
Chuck it on.
We'll put it on.
Happy days.
Good to go. Hello and welcome to Chats for You, the thing where I, James Walker, talk to people I like for you, the public, and that's really all it is. Just talk to people I like. How do you feel about being a person I like?
Yeah, very happy to be.
Very happy to be.
Yep.
And yeah, so usually this is a podcast, but we're giving video a go because it's a big. You've seen videos, right? They're big
I've
things.
seen videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get far fewer downloads than podcasts. In my experience, that maybe you're gonna crack it.
I'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm already, as you know, I've been leeching off your setup, and we've been discussing matters of podcast tech.
Yeah.
So no, very happy. If this works, I'll be ripping off the type of camera that you've got.
Okay, I think I'm happy with that.
Yeah, nice.
I think I'm happy. So yeah, as you can already tell, my guest is here. That's him. This is Sir Pods a Lot himself, Stuart Goldsmith.
Wow.
How do you feel about Pods a Lot?
Pods a Lot. I don't. There's got to be a. Do you know what? On my gilded balloon pass last year at the Edinburgh Fringe, I was down as the Podmaster General.
Oh.
So, yeah, I prefer that to Sir Pods a Lot. No, I don't know. I'm not. I mean, the Podmaster General is probably someone like Herring or Zaltzman or Maron or Hardwick or one of those.
Right.
So the pods a lot is it's a suitably humbling term.
Okay. So yeah, basically, first of all, thanks for doing this, even though he's got no idea what he's in for, and that's not like a warning. That's just sort of me saying you don't really know what's coming up.
No,
that's
you're right.
true.
You're right. That's good. That frees me of the responsibility of having done any research.
Yes, completely true. So this is my first on-camera interview. And I just what are you expecting when you're answering a question? How do you expect me to react? Like, what do you think an interested look would be?
Ah, I see. Well, what you need is kind of a nodding shot, don't you? Really, you need another camera set up behind me, so that you can go like that. Just stick it in, and then it doesn't matter what you do. So, what do I think would be a good nodding, a good reaction?
When I'm asking you a question, well, what's your face going to be like? Do you think?
What's my face going to be like?
Yeah.
When you answer me a question, I will normally be going for either this or this.
Oh yeah. I've got several of those types of questions.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that
Bring
reaction.
them on.
When I first interviewed you back in 2013, at one point you answered a question and there was a wasp like all up in your grill, like just it's just right there, and like I personally couldn't do that. Like you didn't even flinch and you kept answering the question. So then I thought that's a true podcaster.
Pro tip.
That is a true podcaster.
Ignore wasps.
So I'm going to
27.
suggest some.
So I'm going to throw a wasp at you and see how you react.
I'm going to suggest some other things that might be like up in your grill, and tell me if you'd still be able to keep calm and answer questions.
Okay. Bring it on.
So let's see. A dog.
If a dog was in my grill,
if he's like pretty close to you, yeah.
I'm not comfortable around dogs. I was bitten by a dog as a child, so I would, in a classic example of give him a stroke, he won't bite, stroke, bitten on the thigh.
Right.
So I would not be comfortable with that. I prefer a wasp.
Okay, cool. A parrot. How do you feel about parrot?
I like birds. I like parrots. Yeah. I'd be happier with a toucan, but I would accept a parrot.
Yeah, remember a parrot might start repeating bits of your answer back to you.
Yes.
So it might put you off.
I think that'd be quite fun. Even if it did put me off, it'd be like doing one of those TV shows where you have to have a thing in your ear and you've got a producer going, pieces of 8 or whatever, and you're freaking out. Yeah, I think it'd be quite fun.
Did producer say that a lot?
Yes, parrot.
Parrot-wise? Yep,
yeah.
Okay. And finally, a bear. A bear.
If we were doing the interview whilst running downhill, then I think, is that what you're supposed to do with bears? If a bear attacks, you're supposed to run downhill? I can never remember whether you make yourself big or play dead or run away. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different animals, there's different versions of each animal.
I know what I mean.
So what you'll find is you're supposed to punch a shark on the nose, but you get confused and you end up trying to swim downhill or something. Make yourself big for a shark. So I don't know. I would imagine I'd freak out. A bear. Have you seen Grizzly Man?
I've not seen Grizzly Man.
The Herzog documentary about Timothy Treadwell, who lived with the bears and gave them all names and thought he was their friend, and he was not their friend. He was just some weird flappy bird that they didn't. He was like, I've got a relationship with the bears, and they're like, no, we're bears. We're bears, mate. You got no relationship with us.
Yeah. Bears do say mate.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so Stuart, if I were to become you, steal your identity, what would you say are the 3 things that I'd have to get right? In other words, what makes Stuart Goldsmith Stuart Goldsmith? In order to get right so that if someone did like a brief visual check, they'd go, that's Stuart Goldsmith, or so you could convince my brother that you were me. Maybe what somewhere in between, like sort of. Okay. What would you need to get right? Like, so do we mean visually or personality-wise? It could be both. Just. Okay. Well, I've got quite a pointy nose, as you'll see there. Right. So that's quite, a little bit of a prosthetic nose would be a start. I'm blessed with a fine head of hair, but you're blessed with a perfect head for a wig. So so that's not going to be a problem. It'd be much harder if you had a big forest of blonde dreadlocks. To get that, so nose and wig, that's the kind of visual-wise nose and wig combo. I suppose what I'm known for is someone said of my own podcast that I'm like Michael Parkinson, only crippled with self-doubt. So you'd need to try and be a bit crippled with self-doubt. less crippled these days, I would say, but certainly like constantly questioning your every decision and over-analysing things. Right, yeah. So if you were to be wearing a Stuart Goldsmith wig, like this kind of parrot hair I've gone for, then constantly checking it in the mirror, making sure the wig was on straight, adjusting it, wondering if it was the right wig, wondering if you should have bothered with the wig and just gone for the nose. That would be a good, sort of a shifty kind of, oh God, am I getting this right? Is it really okay? That would probably be good. So visual appearance, self-doubt, and just kind of over-analysis of things. I think as well. Well, no. We'll write that under self-doubt. I think you would need to find a way to fake warmth, because that's what I do. Is that what I've been getting to do? I tend to. I don't know. People say that I'm a very warm kind of person. People tend to like me. It's impossible to describe without sounding like an arsehole. That's why you're on this. Do you know what I mean? But it's I try and be nice. I think it's empathy. I try and see it from the person's point of view. So if you're here interviewing me, I've interviewed people. I probably know what sorts of things you might be nervous or concerned about, or worried about the technology, or looking at your notes and stuff. So because I've been in that place myself, or at least, even if I haven't, I can imagine myself being in that place. So I will try to go, hey, that's fine. Take your time. It's all good. Oh, I've enjoyed that when you've no worries, you're very welcome. It's been very calming. And would you say that you obviously do your podcast, which we'll give a plug for later on, but would you say that doing the podcast has helped you in real life conversations, do you find? It's probably people's reaction to the podcast has been so warm and excited about it that it's made me think, oh, I must be doing something right. And that has probably, it probably has given me a bit more confidence in how I deal with people. In the same way as, like, sometimes I'll be about to go on a really tough gig, and I'll be thinking, hey, you can't kill me. I've headlined up the Creek in Deptford. I can do. I mean, that's my go-to one. I've done that. I can do this. Yeah. And similarly, I think the fact that I've interviewed kind of potentially scary, big name, kind of like particularly American comics, people I wouldn't have gigged with, people like David Cross or Rob Delaney, that I've interviewed them and got on with them. I can come away from that thinking, I can talk to people. And I suppose the other tip is, this is a great tip, about impostor syndrome. So impostor syndrome is a real thing where you think, I shouldn't be here. What the hell am I doing? I'm not one of whoever it is I'm talking to. And you can have that in all walks of life and social life, what have you. And apparently the big tip is you need to recognise you're feeling impostor syndrome. You need to smile and congratulate yourself for spotting it. So you're like, oh, it's positive. Yeah. And the key thing is, if you really feel like you're not supposed to be there, remember your values. And if your values are things like, like for example, I'm going to interview Dara O'Brien soon, and that's potentially an imposing presence. He's obviously a squillionaire. He's an amazing comic. He's the not just on, but is the regular host of Mock the Week.
And if in going into that situation I feel a bit intimidated by my understanding of who he is, then a good thing for me to do would be to remember my values and go, well, look, I care about being interested in people, finding out about things. So even if I'm not the best guy for the job, even if I'm not the best person to do this interview, then I've got the right values for it.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes it out of yourself and your appraisal of your own ability and makes you think more of, well, actually, there could be someone who's a much better interviewer than me or much less nervous or intimidated in whatever circumstance, but they might not have the same values that I have, so I'm the best guy with my values.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great answer.
Yeah.
Did you like my listening face?
Say again?
Did you like my listening face?
Do you know what? It was really lovely. It was like the music in a film, in that I didn't notice it, so it was doing its job.
We were talking about animals earlier when I said that I'll be all up in your grill.
Mm-hmm.
There was a game that I think it's your girlfriend's game called Animal Verb.
It is my fiance's game.
Yeah,
and
your fiance's game.
Yes, she was my girlfriend when she created it.
Oh, okay.
So it is also my girlfriend's game.
Yeah. So I just like to quite get the word out about that because I remember watching Mark Watson's 27-hour show and like the whole audience took part.
Were you in the room?
No, I was just watching online.
Are you watching online?
Yeah.
Yes, so Saskia, my wonderful fiance, and I turned up to do another comic relief related thing. It was like a radio, like a 27-hour podcast that was happening concurrently. We got there early. They said, go and chill out, Mark Watson's show is next door. And I've been in a couple of his marathon shows in the past, and not so much recently. And so we turned up and I kind of appraised the situation. Right, there's 120 very sleepy, wired people in the audience and maybe as many comics on stage as well. So I thought, right, do you know what this needs? This needs a game. Now, me and Saskia invent lots and lots of games. We've invented the game Winslet, the game Do You Want to Be an Owl or Not? We've got an awful lot, Where's Lenny? That's a favourite of ours. And Animal Verb, which is 99% her invention. It's 100% her invention. All you need to do is think of an animal that's also a verb. And because we've played it enough times, when I said, guys, we're going to play a game, and I sort of stood next to Watson and went with a mic and went, right, we're going to play this game. It's called Animal Verb. You've got to think of an animal that's also a verb. When a lot of sleepy, wired people went, what? I've played it before. I've got a bit of previous. I was able to go, come on, guys, take command of the situation. We can do this. Let's start here. And we ended up marshalling a really fun game where every single person thought of one. Jenny and Claire kept running in and going, whale, and we're like, we've done whale, pay attention, Claire, and we got some really, really strong answers. So it's a great game. And in fact, as I pointed out at the time, it's often when in the opening moves of the game when some people are still resisting it, because I've never known a game like it for people going, that sounds rubbish, and 2 minutes later they're like, oh, okay, monitor. Does that count? The best thing is to tell people, look, it's almost as easy to play animal non-verb. Because there's so many of them.
Right,
So that's a great
Is there a really impressive one that you have in your back pocket? That you
I've just spunked it now. Monitor is a blinder. That was originally played by James Acaster in New Zealand in 2013. But Monitor's a killer. Nag, I like. And a good move is to go into words for young animals or male animals or female animals. Because people often aren't expecting that. So buck, for example. It's a good one.
Good game for people on YouTube.
It's a hell of a game. Hashtag Animal Verb, and the inventor is @Saskatron. Should be very pleased. Have you got listener questions? I'm doing a terrible thing now. Looking over your shoulder.
I'll give you now.
Lou Sanders. Do you know Lou?
I've never seen her.
She's very funny. Wild. She's a wild live wire kind of presence. And I was going to interview her, and she came into my flat, and she was like, "Hi, how you doing?" She brought me some chocolates, and like as a sort of bribe/gift. And then she started looking like she wanted she manoeuvred herself in between me and my notes, and then started reading all my notes for the interview. Brilliant.
So I've got a list, a viewer question, I guess, now. It's my friend Shan, and she wants to know, have you ever realised that you dislike someone halfway through a podcast?
I'm joking. I
didn't mean me.
We could just fade to black there as I look at you. Have I ever realised halfway through a podcast that you dislike someone? I'm going to be totally honest. Nearly. There's one occasion I can think where, I feel terrible saying it. I don't think anyone would guess what it was, because as well as being nice, I can also fake nice. Halfway through one episode, I did think, oh, you're not quite who you thought I was going to be. I wouldn't go so far as to say I dislike them.
Right.
So the answer is no. But certainly I'm very lucky with my podcast because I interview comedians. A lot of them I've worked before, or that I know their work very well. I'm very lucky in that like you, I often get to talk to people I like and want to hang out with, so it's nice. And just once there was someone who I just kind of went, oh right, you're actually a bit more forthright and a bit more direct, shall we say, being very nice about this. Yeah. Just that I kind of thought, oh right, okay, oh, that's interesting. But I haven't come away from that thinking that I dislike.
Right, okay, yeah.
But I've done 120 episodes, so one is not bad.
Yeah, that's alright, that's good. Yeah. And because this is YouTube, everyone's going mad about exclusives, like getting an exclusive thing. Same with podcasts, they want exclusive things. So I was wondering if we could maybe do an exclusive Stuart Goldsmith moment. Mm-hmm. So just maybe something you think you've maybe not done on a video before, or just something that's not too X-rated.
Something I've never done on a video before. Well, there'll be a lot of things I've never done on videos before. I haven't appeared in many videos. I don't know what sort of thing you've got in mind. What should we do?
Have you ever shook a
I've
bit
never punched a man.
Oh, maybe not that one. You ever shook a water bottle on?
Shook a water bottle? Yeah. No, I tell you what I could do probably is balance it. It's been a while. Is that even in shot?
Yeah, that's in shot.
Okay.
It's in shot, yeah.
Well, to be honest, I could just do that. Oh, I mean, I'm not balancing that because we're clearly cheating it. Yeah, you see if it's been a while. because the weight's at the bottom. It's not easy. There we go.
Not bad at all.
It's a YouTube exclusive.
Whoa.
Surely YouTube exclusives is what people do when they're kind of stealth marketing, e.g. Pringles. Oh, this is an exclusive. I've never eaten this particular snack before. Wow.
My plan is to tweet about this and be like, see Stuart Goldsmith balance a water bottle.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
So that's
#average circus.
Let's talk a bit about merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
If there was to be a Stuart Goldsmith action figure, what would you like its look to be? Like sort of the clothes you think you wear the most and you'd like to be on this action figure?
Yes.
And also, who would your arch nemesis be?
Great question. Right. Well, at the moment, I mean, as anyone who can be bothered to Google image search me will learn, I only have one set of clothes at a time. So at the moment, this is Stuart Goldsmith 2013 to the present. I would think probably golden age Stuart Goldsmith would be me between the ages of 16 and 19, which would be a leather jacket and some cut-off black jeans and some Doc Martin boots and that kind of stuff. Leather jacket that I painted with various bits of.
And they could come in their own you could get the costume at Christmas. You could already have action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then then there'd be Stuart Goldsmith with hair down to here, and there'd be Stuart Goldsmith with a shaved head. And then briefly, for one time in the year 2000, I had a head that was shaved completely bald at the front and that bit, and then at the back was like a number 2 or a number 3 kind of haircut for a clown show that I did in 2000. But I say it was for a clown show. The clown show was so that I could have a haircut.
Yeah.
So there'd be a variety of action figures, and I'd like them also to have one of those. Sometimes there's a button at the back, and they do a thing. I don't know what the thing would be. I mean, that probably. Like this. Or in fact, I want the thumbs, so you could do press the thing at the back and it goes, this guy. That'd be nice. And the arch nemesis, I think, would be something like a Dementor from Harry Potter, some sort of the Spectre, it would be me, but greyed out and wearing sort of long, sort of tattered robe that would be and it would hover. It would be on one of those little clear plastic things at a base to make it look like it's hovering. And that would be the spectre of my own sort of anxiety following me around.
And if this was a film, how would you defeat that in the final battle?
Ooh, good. I think it would beat me. I think in the end it would be a bleak subtitled movie. It'd be in English, but we'd have English subtitles anyway. Just because it's just subtitled in English. And at the end it would beat me, and I would eventually die.
Okay.
and then at the end I'd have a post-credit scene where I've reached a hand up out of the swamp.
We're going to do my trademark question now.
Ooh.
And you've already answered this once, so
okay.
And my trademark question is, what do you like? Okay. And last time you gave the answers lying in bed with your girlfriend, now fiance, making up songs and impressions.
I do like that, yeah.
The band Faith No More.
I am wearing their t-shirt right now! There we are.
There we go. And some other bands. You also said that.
I have no merchandise of those bands.
So yeah, I've revised the question.
Okay.
What do you like now?
Well, it's clearly the same, isn't it? I was lying in bed with my fiancée this morning doing songs. I've been singing songs to her. I really do like, and it's not that I actively like this, I just always do it, so I must do. But I will constantly sing things that are going on in my life. So if I'm picking up a piece of paper, I will sing, "It's the paper picking up time for Stu. Stu's paper time." Like that, and I won't notice I'm doing it unless she's around and she'll go, "Singing, you're singing again." I mean, you love my singing.
Could you do a bit of song about what's happening here?
Loves my singing. What's that?
Could you do a little song about what's happening here?
I never, I'm got my legs folded up, chatting to James with his podcast. We turned it around because we thought the light was better, and that was probably right.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying
they're good songs, but they are songs.
So Stuart, thank you very much for doing this, being part of this first video tryout. You had
treasure.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, thank you very much.
Would you like to? You'll obviously coming to the Fringe again this year.
I am.
And would you like to maybe plug your shows?
Sure, thank you. I have two things to plug. At 4:55 every day in the Canonsgate venue on Canongate, which is a nice pub on PBH's Free Fringe. I'll be doing my new show, which is entitled An Hour. And I recently found out that the available slot is 55 minutes in duration, so that's cash back straight off the top. But that's a really good. It is. It's a really good show. I'm really enjoying writing it. I'm actually for the first time, enjoying writing it, and I'm just doing funny stuff. And if something isn't funny enough, and I catch myself trying to make it work, I bin it. It's so great. So that's good. And I'm also doing my Comedians Comedian podcast, which you can download or stream from comedianscomedian.com, in which I explore in depth the creative processes of all your favourite comics.
I'll put a link up here like Graham Norton does.
Oh yes.
If I can
put it exactly there.
If there's not a link there, I don't know.
That's where the link goes. Yes, so you can find that on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud. And that I'm going to be doing a live show of that at underneath Black Medicine. I think it's venue 355 at 11 p.m. For the last 2 weeks of the Fringe, and both of those shows are completely free, and you can turn up and make a donation at the end in support of the show. And if you see me in the street, come and press some money into my hand and say something cool, then I'll know you're in the gang.
What sort of cool thing?
Well, recently I've had put your hand out. Recently I've had get yourself an ice cream, and I've also had half now, half when he's dead. Like that, and people palm 20 quid. That's tremendous.
And for anyone wondering, very firm handshake.
Oh yeah, nice guy.
Thank you for watching YouTube. There we go.
Oh, and you can also look at my YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/comcompod, you can see examples of interviews with people like Bo Burnham and David O'Doherty and stuff like that.
Okay, just showing off at the end there. Cool. I'm going to be cutting this, so it's not going to be one consistent take. I'll keep that bit.
Yeah, of course you will.